Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, wanted to talk about Daniel Jacobs' performance on Saturday because I didn't talk about it. Um, yeah, man, he scored a 12 round unanimous decision over Sulecki. The 154 pounder who moved up to 160 to fight him. Um, Interesting fight, interesting way to dissect it. Now, how you perceive this fight really depends on how you perceive Daniel Jacobs and Jermall Charlo, because as we all know, that's the fight, outside of GGG Canelo or GGG Saunders, that is the biggest fight and best fight you can make in the middleweight division at this point. Um, he fought Sulecki, who a lot of people said was underrated coming into this fight. As I learned and went and watched some tape on Sulecki, I slowly learned myself that this guy was underrated. And albeit he be a 154-pound fighter moving up, the guy had longer arms, had been in there with a whole host of just like quality fighters. Guys like Proxa and Derek Finley, who's an okay journeyman. Hugo Centeno Jr., who Jermall Charlo just knocked out the week prior to that. He had fought Jack Kulke, who most of us know for fighting Demetrius Andrade and nearly beating him. Was it last year? I think it was last year. So, he's beaten some quality fighters. He had never lost coming into Jacobs' fight. He made them go up to 160. And by all means, he gave a great account of himself. Just made it a lot easier. He was landing like a lot of his right hand a lot more than you would have expected. A guy who's moving up from 154. At 154 he wasn't regarded as a big puncher or anything like that. He was known as a guy with good work rate, smart fighter. But I mean, this guy was putting in some serious work on Daniel Jacobs, and luckily for Jacobs, later in the fight, he scored a knockdown. And I believe that to be the difference in the fight. There were some wide scorecards, but this fight was a lot closer than the judges' scorecards had it. The scorecards were like 116, 111, 117, 110, and 115, 112. Now, the 115, 112 scorecard I could agree with. The other one's a little too wide for my liking. I thought Sulecki did a fantastic job, and I did not let the HBO commentary sway me at all in this fight. Now, when it comes to Jacobs and Charlo, because he did call out Charlo in this fight, he said, I quote, ultimately, we want guys with belts, but if we can't get them, we will go down the list. If Brooklyn wants Jermall Charlo, where you at, Jermall Charlo? Come see me. He called Jermall Charlo out. Now, a lot of people are saying because Daniel Jacobs struggled against Sulecki, who was a 154-pounder who moved up to 160, that it makes no sense to call out Charlo, and that it's stupid to call out Jermall Charlo because Jermall Charlo is a young fighter who seems to be entering his prime, who just beat the daylights out of Hugo Centeno Jr., who was a good test for him. But I don't know. I think the fight should still happen. I think the fight should definitely still happen. If anything, I'll even take it a step further. Not only should the fight happen, but because of Daniel Jacobs' performance against Sulecki, where he looked so vulnerable, and you could even say that Sulecki's performance probably warrants a rematch. Despite all that, I think that if anything, that should make the fight easier to make, because you had Charlo and him going back and forth. He didn't look so good in his last fight. He fought a guy that was a light puncher at his natural weight class. He came out to a weight class that wasn't his natural weight class, and he looked damn good against Daniel Jacobs. So, if anything, if I'm Jermall Charlo, I'm trying to get this contract signed tomorrow. And for all the fans who are saying, "Oh, you don't want this fight to happen," I just don't. I don't see the logic in that, because how many times no fighter looks good. I've tried to explain this to you guys many times before. No fighter looks good every single fight. It's rare. Floyd Mayweather, a lot of people like Floyd Mayweather, right? So I'm gonna use that example. Floyd Mayweather had hella fights in his career where he didn't look good. Emmanuel Augustus, he didn't look good. DeMarcus Corley, he didn't look good. Manny Pacquiao, he didn't look good. The plenty of fights. He did it for the most part. He maintains fighting at a high level, and then same thing for Pacquiao. But you can even pick with those guys who stayed at the top for so long, fights where they didn't look so good. And with Daniel Jacobs, we have a fight where he was supposed to look good. He had a hand-picked opponent where he's supposed to look good, but guess what? He didn't look good. That's boxing. You never know what could happen in the sport of boxing. That's why we freaking tune in. If we knew what was going to happen, we wouldn't watch the damn sport. So With that being said, man, Jermall Charlo is still untested. It doesn't matter if Daniel Jacobs didn't. It didn't. It doesn't matter if Daniel Jacobs didn't look so good against Sulecki. The fact of the matter is, Jermall Charlo at middleweight remains very untested. He's only fought Jorge Sebastian Highland, who was a cannon fodder opponent. He fought what's his name, Hugo Centeno Jr. Didn't look so good against him. Oh no, looked good against him, but I'm saying Hugo Centeno got destroyed. So what I'm saying is this: he's untested. Daniel Jacobs been in there with GG and won 12 rounds. Daniel Jacobs been in there and beat Peter Quillen. Daniel Jacobs is, a pretty damn good middleweight. So put him in there. Let's see if Charlo really is what he's talking about. Let's see if Jacobs really is what a lot of the boxing media claims he is, which is the third best middleweight in the world. And made the damn fight happen. So I'm gonna leave it at that. There really ain't much to say. I liked the Sulecki fight. Hopefully down the road they do a rematch, because Sulecki proved that maybe it was an aberration, but based off this fight, he proved that he belongs in there in the middleweight division. And I want to see more of Sulecki. He was definitely what a lot of people said he was, and that's definitely underrated. So, as for Jacobs, man, good fighter, shows some intensity and spurts, but we want to see that intensity maintained for 12 rounds. And I think that's a problem for him. He has these flurries sometimes in fights, but we want to see it for longer periods of time. So hopefully that's what we see. And more importantly, hopefully we get that Charlo fight, because Charlo has been running his mouth. Jacobs has been running his mouth. They need to settle this in the ring, all right? We got too many damn internet fighters these days, as my main man, Stacey McKinley, would say. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys let me know what you think about Jacobs' performance. Do you think the Charlo fight still should happen? If anything, like I said, it should happen more than ever now, because Jacobs is vulnerable. He's not that good. He's not that good. Put him in there with Charlo and see what happens. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every gosh darn video, you can love me or you can hate me. I'm just kidding. Damn. All right. So until next time, take care, guys.